Hello and welcome. I'm Lee Peterson, the host of weekly podcast WDcast, which is called WDcast because it's brought to you by WD Partners, also known as Thinkers That Do. And they know that they are thinkers that do because they do strategy, design, digital operations to architecture and construction management. So the whole gamut there at WDpartners.com. Okay, so about this show, the discussions we have on WDcast revolve around relevant business topics, burning platforms, if you will, of the 21st century and the challenges involved. And as everybody knows who's listening, and especially those who may not be listening, there are multitudes of challenges nowadays. Retail is changing so much and so fast. Anyway, today I have with me the humble, the kind, and the always ready, that's an inside joke, Ryan Joy. Ryan is the Director of Visualization Services for WD Partners. Hi, Ryan. How are you today?
Great, Lee. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. A little disclaimer before we get going. The thoughts and opinions expressed today belong to the members of this discussion and do not necessarily represent those of the companies they work for, which in this instance is the same one.
Yep.
Okay. So, Ryan, tell us what you do at WD, and then maybe a little background on yourself. Say, your college running back days. Just kidding, but true. And, just a little bit on yourself as well.
Sure. Yeah. Director of Visualization Services. The biggest point here with my job is probably to bring these spaces to life. So we have some pretty special talent around here, and it's my job to make it look good and be as immersive and interactive as we possibly can. Background running back days. Played a little college football, got what I could out of my body, and no one really told me that the running back had a short lifespan there. So I feel some of those things every day.
I learned something where the average lifespan of a running back in the NFL is 2.3 years.
Yep, I completely believe that. So, it was fun. Great interactions there, great teammates. College really spurred a lot of the tech focus that I'm doing right now. So, hopefully, those are great experiences that I can learn from. As far as background here and what we do here, we're trying to really bring in some strategy and insights to some of the work that we do. So, helping them bring folks in, get them into these spaces in a variety of mediums, have the clients here to be able to see and hear that, really, collect that data that they're really seeking. It's a problem solving every day.
So visualization services, you're to a layman like myself.
Yeah.
You're talking about 3D, completely immersive experiences.
Yep. So there's been an evolution, right? We're really, 2007 might have been the first iPhone. So we're really in kind of infant stages here of immersive tech. So VR, AR, MR, these are virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. All these are becoming one umbrella under what's being called extended reality, so XR. So, you could think of it as experience reality as well. So it's just another way of kind of describing immersive technology. So we're really trying to push that here. And it leads very nicely into, having interactions with a client and focus groups and whatnot. So
I had an experience once where we were doing 3D and we were designing things, and we were at the store opening eventually, and the CEO said to me, people keep asking me, is this what you expected? And I said, yeah, it's exactly what I expected, because it looks exactly like the last 3D model that they showed me.
Yep. Yeah, no, there's exactly what I think the value is. It's that build it before you build it mentality, experience it before you buy it mentality. And, I think that's where the evolution of these stores, our spaces need to go is, you're seeing e-commerce taking off, and, these brands need to kind of adapt to that and be able to, utilize digital means of accessing those brands.
You're talking about I went into a media market once in Spain, and they put some 3D glasses on me, and I had to sit down because I was getting dizzy, walking into things and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about that like a customer experience as well?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, traditionally, when you think of 3D glasses, the blue and the red, I mean, to a certain extent, that has evolved, but that technology is still kind of there. I mean, we're with these headsets and the technology and the pace that we're seeing the growth. The sky's the limit, really, as far as being able to get people into these spaces. Before they're actually built. We have clients that are still building a store in a warehouse. Just to have folks walk through them, and I don't like that flooring. I don't like that paint, the lighting. Let's change it up. Well, we can do that virtually, and it's becoming a natural extension of our design process here too as well. So
you were talking about all those tools before with acronyms.
Yeah.
Which are the, kind of rank them in importance. Which are the ones that are the most used, and then which are the ones that people don't quite know about yet but should be using?
Sure. Yeah. Well, virtual reality, if you, probably the easiest way to describe it is, being in an enclosed experience. So you have the headset on, you don't have really the periphery of your surroundings, but you get lost in it. And that's probably the magic of VR. AR, I would probably say, has the most potential right now with the use of our camera phones, tablets, the AR kits and AR cores that are coming out, really give you an opportunity to blend this digital element with your physical world.
So this is coming from, it just sounds like gaming.
Yeah, no, I mean, the basis is very gamified, and probably that's what initially I think led to some of the initial designs of these. But as they started open up these tools to developers and keeping them open sourced and allowing folks in our industry to be able to kind of make it work for them. You're really starting to see the growth and the potential, and great community of people out there that are sharing ideas. And there's a lot of excitement for wearables in general. Does the form factor get a little smaller? Sure. Google Glass, what they kind of started, I think they were pioneers in that regard, but had some user interface shortcomings maybe that
timing is everything on that one.
It really is. So if you had to really kind of forecast some of that, I'd say it's in wearables and augmented reality. My joke is, what's stopping us from having AR contact lenses at some point? We have everything that's kind of audio and voice controlled now. So, do you really need a mouse and keyboard anymore? What's the office of the future look like? There's
time for me to go. Have you seen the movie Anon? A-N-O-N? Clive Owens.
Oh.
And basically, he's a police officer, and
yep.
that's what he's got. He's got some kind of either implants or
Yep.
contact lenses, so he can look at you and see where you work, how old you are,
Yep.
how much money you owe, what you've done, if you have any criminal history, that type of thing.
Oh, artificial.
So you think that's close to reality? Huh?
Oh yeah, no, I think we're real close to that. Artificial intelligence, especially like in China, for instance, right now, the amount of cameras that are tracking folks. I know it's a touchy subject, but the data mining, the information, it's much like Amazon search engines, right? I mean, you're having specialized, personalized brand experiences there that you can kind of funnel to individuals. So
I'm not sure what scares me more, this conversation or the one with Alexa. Okay, so you mentioned XR.
yes.
And do you see that as the tool kind of the future, and why?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be the more encompassing name for all of this is this extended reality. So, I can definitely see where these tools, it comes down to accessibility, convenience, less clicks. This concept of the build it before you build it, the experience it before you buy it. Our theories of the store of the future. If we say we need to eliminate a little bit more of that center store and the aisles, right? So coming to a store, how do we still get you there? Well, maybe it is more experiential, and these are like I think one of our wayfinds, fulfillment centers, distribution centers. It's maybe it's how Amazon has evolved too, right? Taking over some of these spaces. So focusing on college towns, the quick delivery. So if there's any way that you can digitize that in a way, I think it's very positive for both parties.
So we came from, basically that was a sort of a stunning stat about iPhone 7, or the iPhone was 7 years ago. Is that what you said?
I think 2007 was the first iPhone. Yep.
So 12 years ago,
Yep.
something like that. And now we're in this place where 3D is sort of expected.
Yes.
Right. So what do you think got us there? Was it just price, like reduction in price, or were people more willing to pay for it?
Well, I just think it's become part of the process, and with the development of technology, the some of these game engines out there, the to the Unities, to the Unreal Engine, traditionally these are how we've brought interactive spaces to life, and now you're seeing spin-offs of this, like Enscape, Lumion, add-ons to Revit, to SketchUp, that we can basically, hate to say it, but a one-click solution to gamifying a space. So to be able to walk around a space in real time, seeing lighting in real time, seeing materials change, moving fixtures. So to be able to have those interfaces that the client can experience as well. That's a big part of our process, and our job, my job, is to direct them to the proper medium. So a lot of what we're doing, we try and think of it as cross-platform. We have many ways of showing them the same thing, but each one is a little different experience.
I guess what are you trying to get out of it, right? Like what are you looking for, and then using the right tool?
Yep, because many times our clients are coming to us with buzzwords, right? Like we're told we have to have this, or we're supposed to do this, and when you start really discovering what their problems are and their needs, it's usually not anything that they were describing. So,
do they use that term customer experience on you as well?
Yeah. I think I would hope they're becoming more conscious of that, and thinking about digital and thinking about the customer outside of their store, I think is critical, and having access to their brand. Because look, let's be honest, like the Amazons are taking a chunk out of that. So how do you bring what's great about online, whether it's reviews or comparisons or suggestions on bundling? Are there ways that we can digitize those things specific to our clients, and maybe incentivize them to or their loyalty rewards and whatnot for that particular brand that maybe Amazon wouldn't offer. So
what you're really talking about is the shortcut to the store of the future, right? Like, okay, how about this? Okay, how about this? Or okay, how about this? Right?
Yep. Yeah. A lot of times, you're just trying to forecast, where these tech trends and things are going to go, and we're trying to identify consumer problems, and at that point, how do you solve for those? It's a challenge daily.
All right, just a couple of questions here. Training, like I'm the CEO, and I think, oh my God, I've just created this store of the future, and now I probably, one of the things that always happens in design or construction or anything like that is they start to take some of it in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going to have to hire X to bring that stuff in-house so I can figure out what the changes are really quickly, because they learn a lot from companies like ours.
Sure.
So how is the training on something like this? How long did it take you to learn XR or AR or any of it?
Right. Well, for me, it's someone that's in technology that kind of lives for this. Look, if you don't have the mindset of, look, I have to adapt, right? Like, my mentality is if I don't know a piece of software, well, give me a week and I'll be dangerous on it, right? So like with tech, it's changing daily. So we got to keep up with that. The evolution is tough, but we are trying to stay on the forefront of that.
It's got to be like gaming, like something new every month. Almost, huh?
Yep. No. You constantly have to. I mean, it's basically all gaming related. Bringing this stuff to life. So.
So future stuff. You talked about what you know, but what do you see? What do you think is kind of the next big thing that maybe people aren't really talking about? Because even with things like Store of the Future, we talk about showroom stores where you just the store is only 1,000 square feet and you come in and scan something and run out the door. But in your field, the technology is so rapid fire. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you can see? Is there anything out there maybe a step or two ahead of what's next?
Well, no, that's a tough one. Like I think we alluded to earlier, the AI portion of everything is going to be huge. So, the adaptive intelligence that clients are seeking, that data mining, they want to know what folks are saying and feeling about their brand, right?
So AI could know it maybe before you do.
Maybe, yeah. That's again, what's great about, say, an Amazon, search. It's like you scroll down and hey, here's similar things that you were bought with this, or here's a bundle that you could package with your buy. So, and again, like, hey, what's stopping us? The AR contact lenses, right? We already have the Alexas and Google Home there for voice activation. I think voice is going to be huge. Audio. We're really trying to explore some of the some things, audio solutions that we could utilize in some of the apps and things like that.
So what company, is there a company that's on the forefront, like with a lot of technology for the consumer? You'd always look to Apple and Samsung, people like that. I mean, those the obvious guys. Is there anybody like that in what you do?
As far as actual devices, I would say,
or software.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're really utilizing Unity game engine here. We use the Autodesk fleet of products, so love the way that they all kind of talk nicely together. The HTC Vive headsets are awesome. HoloLens, Microsoft's HoloLens, the Magic Leap, but Oculus is emerging. I don't know that it really went away, but I mean, with its backing, Facebook backing, they're putting a lot of money into what they're doing right now. So with their headsets, with social interaction, sharing of spaces, we just picked up an Oculus Quest. So when you think about the untethering from a computer, from your phone, we have standalone headset like that now your price point, you've now touched a lot more consumers when you don't have to get a $2,000 PC to power it or a $700 phone or whatever. I think this really opens up the opportunity to actually program in some of these devices into some of our proposals. We've always had a tough time with who would actually who would be the end user. Is that certain executive individual or these other decision makers within the organization? But yeah, this opens up the possibility to have that be a part of the project, just a natural extension of the project.
So what's your favorite gizmo? Like, of all this stuff, what's your absolute favorite?
I think, honestly, going back to the with a techie like me, probably the newest thing, right? So, so going back to the Quest, I think it's been the newest thing we've got, and again, it's like this natural evolution of this. We're still really in this infancy stage of VR and AR, MR, XR. So to kind of see that evolution of now, again, we're not tethered to a computer. We're not powering it by a phone. You're putting it in a case and you take it with you. And anywhere you're at, I can, be in a VR space and be kind of lost in it, right? So I think those are probably the coolest things right now. I mean, obviously the HoloLens and Magic Leap are really amazing as far as having the periphery of your surroundings, right? So be able to see your physical world and then have these digital overlays, which is
even more reality.
Absolutely. And you could theoretically walk down the street with one. But even the Quest now has a pass-through camera. So when you were once lost in a VR headset, well, now I can see through and see my surroundings. So they're adding little things like that, every time there's a new iteration to that device. So, I guess right now probably the Quest is a pretty slick, evolution to the Oculus line of products there.
Reminds me of the way I feel about music. People always ask, "What's your favorite song?" So the one I haven't heard yet.
Right. Yep.
There's something coming up that you're going to hear. Or in your case, something that you're going to use that blows your mind, like, wow, That's really great. And all that stuff that came out, I don't know what, 2 years ago was great, but the next one, that's the one you're looking for.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and I mean, for instance, I know we got into a training discussion there, but, Walmart, they're using the Oculus Go's to train their employees. So, when we talk about training in a new facility, a new way of doing a process or whatnot. These are great ways remotely to learn about something, right?
That's weird. Almost like gaming, where maybe somebody comes up to you and asks you a question, and or somebody walks by, or you see somebody stealing something, or wow,
scenarios. Yeah, definitely role-playing scenarios. Putting them. I mean, you could have it to where you're data collecting on answers. If you want them to actually like make it quiz-like, and you have a choice of, repercussions or whatnot. How could that? I think it's just valuable as far as virtual training. Think about what it could cut down on travel expenses. So there's positives there. Well, health and wellness. Could you, have access to those things like CPR training, inhaler usage, insulin pen usage. Could you have a fun way through augmented reality through your phone to, learn about those things outside of the store?
Tracheotomy?
Could be added. Could be added.
Okay, so you told us how you got into this a little bit. Any regrets at all? I mean, should you have run for Congress somewhere in there, or Heisman Trophy, something?
No, I'm not. I wasn't a great orator, and probably wasn't as fast as I should have been. But no regrets. No, I don't really. I don't think that way. Did I miss my calling at Pixar? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I grew up loving art. And storytelling, and I've always had a high respect for them. But family's probably kept me here in Ohio, and I love Columbus. I think we're in a really special place, as a test market, and some forward-thinking folks here. So
it's a good time to be here. That's for sure.
Yep.
Especially compared to even like 10 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, sidebar thing. Everybody's saying that physical retail stores are doomed. What's your take on that? What do you think about that? Physical versus e-com?
Yeah. No, I look, it's much like, some of our theories around the store of the future, right? And these brands have to evolve and try and compete with these e-commerce behemoths. So, yeah, do we make these more experiential centers that, can fulfill orders? Bringing what's great with online to the store, putting it in their hands, that the theory of the endless aisle. I always kind of go back to that, in that, I can find anything I want online, size, flavor, shape, whatever, but not necessarily always in store. So, are there ways to empower the customer to, experience that brand in a lot of different ways?
So not doomed.
I wouldn't say doomed. I mean, come on, we're fighting for that here, right? I don't want to say that. But I mean, look at Amazon.
Doomed to change.
Look at Amazon. That's probably, we keep going back to them, but look how they've evolved with some of their distribution centers, with their Amazon Goes, with just having the loyalty of the Prime account, right? So, a lot of benefits that come from that. So, they've really focused on the customer and not necessarily the technology in general, but yeah, no, they have to evolve. But I'm fighting for brick and mortar every day. We need those spaces. I mean, it's brand identity too, right? You're driving down the street. I see the store. I get an impulse.
Well, that's statistically true too.
Yep.
You close a store and you shut down your e-com as well. So there's definitely a combination thing happening. Okay, so anything else you want to add? Anything that we missed?
I mean, I think we've hit on a lot here. Probably the biggest takeaway is that, yes, these brands, they have to evolve, and you have to become more tech-centric. We talk about other brands like, I love Nike stores. I love what they're doing. I love what they're doing with their app, virtually trying on shoes. The stores themselves are super digital. They're part museums almost too, right? A showcase of the brand, but an Adidas is right there with them. They're really have some awesome looking spaces, and they're creating. I mean, little things like you're buying a pair of shoes and you want to test them out. You want to run. You want to run on some special surface. I mean, like we still need these spaces to interact with these products. It just might be a little bit more specialized.
All right, Ryan. Well put. And thank you. You've been very gracious. Much appreciated. And good luck out there with whatever the next game is.
Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Okay, people, be sure and listen next week for some more human interaction on Hot Topics. And I don't mean the store Hot Topics either. And also be sure and subscribe. WDcast is at wdpartners.com. Go to the menu on the top right, then hit the podcast icon, which looks like an eye, on the bottom right. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys soon.